hitting the Quartzsite RV Show today. This is a very large show. I feel like it's the third of the big three. There's Hershey, Pennsylvania in September. Tampa RV Show in Florida is going on right now in end of January. And Quartzsite is kind of the third one. This is the only one we haven't been to yet.
We'll have the trifecta.
Yeah, and there's plenty of OHVs here too.
Oh, now you're calling them OHVs. You got the
That's
lingo
what
down.
they are, yeah. And this show is completely free, so that's a nice perk. You can just kind of come and go as you want. And this is about an hour north of our campground in Yuma. So we may come back here this weekend to boondock for a couple of days after we leave Yuma, but we wanted to get in on the first weekend of the show.
Short cart. Now, while I'm running these process, feel free to come past.
Right down to that dirty outer leaf and bitter inner core, and you can throw that away.
Actually, good layout.
Where you like to hug your shoulder?
More comfortable than most.
Seems like there's a lot of used rigs here at the Quartzsite show, which we're not really used to from big RV shows like this, but we're most interested in the large Class Cs, like this Integra. I don't know how long it is, but it's very spacious inside, and we've always said that if we ever moved away from a fifth wheel, which we have no plans to do because we really love our fifth wheel and we don't mind the setup and tear down that it requires, but if we ever wanted something more self-contained, we would go with something like this, a large Class C, I think. Nice desk here in the bedroom. We could put a little chair there. That's a good workspace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number, so you mean it's 37 feet long? This is, I think, the category.
And these little Class Cs would be more for a discreet trip. We're thinking like if we ever went to Alaska or something like that, we'd have a little Class C, but I couldn't live in here. It's just too tight, even though it is intriguing to be able to zip around places and park in little spaces. For full-time living, this would have to be a special trip for us. This Host Class C is really interesting. It's got a king cab with a full-size truck back seat. And then, wow,
That's really
you can
interesting.
go up into the rig. And there is also a door in the back you can get into.
It's like a hybrid between a truck camper and a Class C.
That is a huge amount of truck space. Bed over the cab. And that looks like a queen size bed.
I think that's your primary bed.
Uh-huh.
Then there's a secondary bed area, which is that.
Good size kitchen and good size counter space.
It's not a slide, but it's a
It does pop out. Pop out in the back for a small bed or extra storage, I guess. It looks
well,
like
it
you
can't
can
be storage because it has to be closed
Oh,
up.
it has
when
to
you
be
drive
closed up, that's true. Where's the bathroom?
Good sized bathroom for this size.
That is a good size. But that said, it is a lot to maintain a little camper like this only for one trip, or if you're going to use it for a couple months a year and then you live in a house or something. We're saying we'd rather have a Ford F-150 and a little travel trailer that we could take around just for small trips or only to use a few months a year. So I always gravitate towards these Class Cs, and then when we really get into it, we're like, no, we probably would want a separate truck and trailer. Here's an Alliance fifth wheel. We found a really cool feature.
Well, hidden storage
Hidden
behind.
storage behind the fireplace. That is a massive drawer. Very cool.
Behind our fireplace is all an empty cavity.
Yeah.
And this one also has no floor vents. Yep.
And I also like in this Alliance how the stairs are on the opposite side of the door. That's a really unusual layout. And look at the shower. It's really huge. Nice dresser and window seats too. Those window seats have storage in them. And look at this massive shelving next to the bed. You never see that. I think I find that I like the Alliance layouts. I think I've seen other rigs before that I've thought were really innovative design, and they tend to be Alliances. Grand Design Momentum does make a little tiny travel trailer toy hauler called the Class G. And it's very tight, but it is nice to have that deck off the back. So Jason would rather have a toy hauler than a Class C.
Yeah, I think
Even the little one. And then we could pull it with a little truck. So the Quartzsite RV Show is not so much about the RVs as it is about the booths, the big tent and all of the vendors. But even when the show is not going on here in January, for the rest of the season, all these little flea market booths are always here. Quartzsite is a huge, at its heart, it's a huge flea market. And people are shopping here all year round. We are ready to head out from Yuma and go boondocking for a couple of nights. Now, I said before that we might boondock at Quartzsite, but we decided not to do that. We've been to Quartzsite a couple of times now, and it is very crowded there. This is the most crowded that Quartzsite will be during the year, which is late January during the RV show. So we've decided let's not fight that. Let's go more towards where we're going in California. We're heading towards Palm Springs, and on the way there is Joshua Tree National Park. So I've found out from the CAMPGROUNDS app that there is free boondocking at the south entrance of Joshua Tree. So let's head over there and see what it's like. Little pile up at the trucker gas station. One of the pumps wasn't working, so RVs kept pulling up to it and then having to back out of the lane again, and we did the same thing. So we found an extra hazard cone somewhere. We put it over there so that these poor people wouldn't have to keep backing up their RVs. Just before the entrance to the park, there's a dirt road, and you might be able to see along here, there's a whole bunch of people boondocking. And you can just pull down the road and park wherever you want, I believe. We're going to turn off onto the dirt road. This seems to be where the biggest concentration of people is, so since this is our first time boondocking, we're gonna stay with the crowd. We don't want to be off by ourselves too far.
You're gonna be easily culled from the herd. They want some chupacabra to get us because we're off by ourselves.
So, like, we could go right here. There's a big area around that tree. I don't know if we want to keep going down or just take the easy spot. What do you think?
Take an easy spot.
I'm good. I'm good for in here. We're only here for 2 nights, so no need to put us way out. And we're gonna watch out for soft sand, but this all looks pretty compact.
People have parked this way with that being their front. That's
Yeah.
why that fire pit's there.
Yeah, there's some fire pits here, and we can see the tire tracks. So if we want to come back here, we can. But it's a little bit close to the main entrance, so we're gonna go down the road a little bit more and see what else we can see.
No, there was a park in Virginia that had worse roads coming in than this.
Yes, there was.
This is all spots.
It's a pretty open site with a fire pit.
Which is our front.
It
So I want to go
seems-
this way. Pretty good.
Go. Ah.
We've had RV park sites that are less level than this. So
Yep, we have. This is so fun to be set up right here outside of Joshua Tree National Park. We've got our EcoFlow towers set up for our 30 amp connection. We got one here and one in the bedroom. Look at this view out of our windows. Now, if you're an RVer or a frequent YouTube watcher, you probably know what BLM land is. But just in case you don't know, BLM stands for Bureau of Land Management. And out here, especially in the Southwest, although they are all over the country, government land that is just open and not being used for anything else can be classified for free boondocking, camping, that kind of thing. And there's a couple of apps, Campendium and freecampsites.net, are a couple of websites that you can find these free spots. They also list paid campgrounds in this area, but we've been so excited to try a BLM spot. This is our first time just pulling up to the middle of the government land and finding a place to park. So cool. Here's some people that just pulled in behind us a ways, and it looks like they have a pop-up truck camper. You can see the canvas on the top is just going up. So even though we have our EcoFlow battery towers, we do not have any solar panels. So the only way we can charge those is with our generator. So we are going to still be pretty frugal on our electricity usage. We don't have any lights on right now because there's plenty of light outside. And also, we're not going to run any electric heaters or the electric fireplace. We have our propane furnace that just takes a little bit of energy to run that fan. It's only going to be down to 50 degrees tonight, so we really shouldn't need a lot of heat. And then we've got a full water tank. We filled up with water before we left Yuma. And our black and gray tanks are empty, so we should be fine for 2 nights here. Poor lady came knocking on our door here at the BLM land, and her RV is stuck in the sand. She was asking, she said, someone told me that since you have a dually, you might be able to pull me out. So we do have tow straps that we've bought. They're brand new. We've never used them before.
Ultimate recovery tow strap. So we're thinking that it's the ultimate that's really going to take us right over the edge. But it should be fine. We got a dually with 4-wheel drive. She just needs to get out of this little soft, she kind of dug herself into and get over that.
Yeah, she's got a little Class C here. It looks like she went into the deep weeds. She got herself stuck in the sand. Keep going. All right, now it's tight.
Okay. So you're just trying to get enough gas to move it, but not dig yourself deeper.
See her back tire just spinning. Push it hard.
There we go.
All's well that ends well.
Pay it forward.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to tow that lady out. However, it looks like we have a small puncture in our front tire now. There's a little slow leak, so we're gonna have to get our spare tire out and switch it out.
It's where the tire's been wearing down. Tiniest there. So we'll put the spare on. We have a full-size spare.
Yeah, the side is a little bit worn down anyway, but there's just a little tear right there.
Yeah, look, this is pretty worn.
Yeah.
Might be time to get new tires anyways. So this is the access hole to put something in there to get the spare tire on, and it kind of locks.
Spare tire's underneath the bumper here, but we have to figure out how to.
So you unlock that, and then it pops that out.
And you put your lug wrench in there somehow.
There's a guide tube right there.
All right.
All right.
You can see the guide tube, sort of.
All right. So this is the end that seems to go in there and catch, and I'm just putting one extension on.
This is a kit that came with our truck.
Yeah. And then it's going in this little access tube, and when I get it back in there, I can feel it grab.
Okay. Probably lefty-loosey.
Yeah. Is the tire coming down?
Yeah, it is.
Well, there you go.
Sort of the same as on the RV.
Yep. All right, so I just angle that out. That comes out. That comes out. And there we go. A spare tire.
And this is a full-size spare, right?
Yeah, I don't think they'd do a donut. I don't think they'd do a donut on the...
I don't think so.
That would be ill-advised. Look at the difference. I mean, this is brand new, so there's no tread, but this is where it's all worn down. This is where the sidewall was worn, where it got that little puncture there. Mm. Yeah. So it could be these were overdue to be.
Yeah, I just rely on the truck to tell us when things need to be replaced. I don't really check them.
Around when they'd be done.
Yeah.
These have been rotated once, so if you look, there's better treads on the back there.
Yeah.
And they look pretty.
The back tires
worn.
look like in much better shape.
What's the easiest way?
The truck manual is not very clear on where to place this jack, so I wanted to film it. This is the front passenger side tire that's flat. This is the I-beam. And then the manual says to put it underneath this axle here, which is very round, so we're a little concerned to put the jack on a round thing, but we can't find anything else online, and that's clearly where the picture shows to put it. So we're going to put it on the inside of this I-beam, right along the axle, the big axle. Not that little smaller thing is a steering axle. Don't put it on there. Put it on the big tire axle here.
So this angle works.
Yeah.
All right, that's off. That's off the ground. I'm gonna take this out so it doesn't.
Going in from this angle was a lot closer than trying to go under that.
Well, no,
bumper in the front.
so the handle I could get the handle going. There we go. Yeah, that sucker's worn. Work smarter, not harder. I think we're done. All right. All right, and again, you just hand tighten these until you just feel a little bit of pressure.
Stop giving people bad information.
Just a little bit.
Now we need to torque the lug wrenches to the correct...
to 150
pounds. So when you're using a torque wrench, you want to keep pushing it until you hear that click. That's how you know it's at the proper poundage.
Or force.
Force.
Yeah.
Just like regular, when you change a tire, retighten your lug nuts in a star pattern. This tire should be repairable, although the tread on it is not great, but we're gonna...
Yeah, no, I think we need to buy...
We're gonna put it up under here just in case we can do something with it.
But also, if I do repair it, it'll be a usable spare.
True. Well, it's never fun to have to change a tire, but if it's a choice between doing it here where we're parked and being on a busy highway with a flat tire or something, I'd much rather do it here. So that was a great opportunity for us to practice and learn how to change the tires on our dually. Well, I didn't quite have time in this video to show you all the great things that we did at Joshua Tree National Park. So be sure and come back for that next week. And until then, I hope you have a great week. Bye, guys.